Oriane, we go back to Colombia, to
Yes.
Santa Marta, the north of Colombia, le
Justin.
nord de la Colombie, avec
Yes.
Justin.
I'm really. Hello, Justin. Welcome.
Hello, Oriane. Hello, Michel. Thanks for
I'm
having me.
so excited to have you on board, and I'm really impressed with your project because it's so creative. So people don't know, but you are an American who fell in love with Colombia and Colombians.
Yep.
And yeah, you are very, very creative because your project is out of the box.
C'est vraiment très, très particulier comme projet. Je vous invite. C'est extrêmement touchant comme projet, très inattendu.
Yeah, I love it. So this is your turn.
Thank you. Thank you for the introduction. Yes, I'm, like they said, I'm Justin Bull, and I'm currently living in Santa Marta, Colombia. I've lived in Colombia since 2010, and over the years, I've taught English to businesses and at a university, and games have been one of the most effective ways my students have learned. So if some of you don't already know, Juegos means games in English. And today I'm going to introduce an initiative I call Juegos a la Orden. A typical scene in Colombia these days, you won't be surprised to see entire families on the streets with the Venezuelan migration crisis. Venezuelans they've moved their entire livelihoods across country, sometimes on foot, many times on foot, and they've come all the way down to Argentina, but most of them they remain in Colombia since it's the closest. And it's these empathetic responses have started to turn into more negative prejudices because of the abundance of people in desperation. So to show the numbers, in 2023, over 7.7 million migrants worldwide. 84% are in Latin America, 37% in Colombia. That's nearly 3 million. And the last census in 2022, the general Colombian poverty situation is quite high as well, nearly 40%. That's over 20 million people have incomes or resources insufficient to meet their basic needs. So I asked myself, what could I do to help? And I thought, what could bring joy to their day? Well, in Colombia, there's a big time culture here with street performers, and these street performers they're quite creative. They bring joy to the streets, and the culture speaks for itself. And I find myself actually paying more money for someone that is entertaining, like a musician on the streets. I give them bills rather than just coins to support their talents. But not everybody has what it takes. And people asking on the streets, they definitely don't look so happy. And these aren't drug addicts. These are families. These are maybe Colombians that are disabled. They're people that are looking for their way to contribute in society, and they just don't know how. So imagine someone in the street. This guy was initially selling candy, but you put a game in his hands, a spinner game, and all of a sudden he becomes a game host. And all of a sudden people start becoming interested instead of avoiding him selling candy in exchange for coins. And he says, Juegos a la Orden. And all of a sudden, instead of teaching his children how to ask for money on the streets, he's teaching them how to be more innovative, creative, social skills, interacting with people. And this is the idea with Juegos a la Orden. Some of the benefits, this would be a natural icebreaker, adding a positive spin to giving. It also spice up everyone's day, just like the musicians, promote interactions, increase empathy and dignity, and an opportunity to inform and inspire not just the people on the streets, but the people playing the games. So unfortunately, the animations don't work here, but this is kind of how the game works. We can imagine a situation where a mother and her child, and they're playing a spinning game, and you've already heard of the initiative. So you hear Juegos a la Orden, and you say, I have 1,000 pesos, I'll play. And you spin the wheel and you receive a card. And the card says, how long does it take to how long do you use a bag in average amount of time you use a plastic bag? And it gives you A, B, C, or D. And you guess A, 12 minutes. And you go, hey, I got it right, correct. And the child gets really excited. They already know the answers because they've been playing this game. And each card that you receive has a suggestion to take action. So for example, for this one, it would be to store reusable bags in your car and backpack for spontaneous purchases. So this would be the situation of a game, and it wouldn't just be 1,000 pesos. They could maybe talk you into another game and say, hey, would you like to try again to win? And you, instead of just paying 1,000, you'd pay double, 2,000 pesos. And that is much bigger difference than just coins. So some of the challenges I identified here, the obviously one on the left here is the safety on the streets. One solution would be to collaborate with police to hand out games. Another challenge are the unique situations. It's very difficult to identify everyone's situation. In poverty, they can be addicts. They might have experience with trauma. And I've even heard some of the people with children, they're not actually their parents, and they're using the children to try to attract more money. So it's very important to have a strategic scripted interviews to filter game hosts. And obviously you could collaborate with other local social programs that already have experience with these people, that they already have a filter system, and police recommendations would also be welcome. Another challenge would be unpleasant interactions. Obviously, if the players have a bad first impression with the host, they're not going to want to play again. So a solution for that would be to offer training and even uniforms to help these people identify like they have a job to do. They're part of something. They're part of a community. And this would be a great opportunity during the training to collect data, maybe their housing situation, family size, average income. And it'd be very important for this initiative for the government support to encourage Colombians to participate, because if we want this to be a trend, that would be necessary. And Colombians have responded really well to trends. I've noticed over the years, for example, Crepes and Waffles is one of the major, most popular restaurant chains in Colombia, and they're known for hiring single mother employees. So all their waitresses are single mothers, and Colombians actually, they take pride in this. And whenever you're eating there, they say, hey, did you know these are all single mothers? And then in 2019, they did an anti-plastic campaign. So the major supermarkets, they now charge for plastic bags. And I've noticed a lot more reusable bags on the streets. Yes. And so I've already designed a pilot. You can see on the right here, it's the pilot that I created. And how much did it cost? Well, $13 US. Just for the materials and the printing. But obviously I would get quotes from local businesses to reduce the price in bulk. And for eligible profiles, we wouldn't just give these out to anybody. It would be people that need extra earnings. It doesn't have to be people on the streets. It can be people from disadvantaged communities. And individuals would have to pass this filter process to demonstrate the necessary interest and motivation. And approximately 40 games a day at 1,000 pesos would get these people to reach the minimum wage. So that would definitely help those numbers I showed you earlier to improve those numbers in Colombia. It's actually a realistic solution. If someone could play 40 games a day, they would be feeling much better about their financial situation. Some of the goals I already mentioned: to set a national trend, improve morale and safety in the streets, increase empathy for people in need, spread environmental friendly habits. All of these cards would be very focused on the environmental awareness, and inspire positive change for everyone. And what is needed, I also mentioned the government support, collaboration with the police, funding for games and volunteers. And how would this project sustain? Well, sponsorships, grants, and donations are very welcome. And then a very important would be filter system to regulate the handouts. I also see a potential for growth with this idea. It's a great concept that maybe NGO volunteers that are asking for money, they could add a little more value, right? And they could use these games to try to attract more donations. And then variety of games could also show different content. And, you know, that content could not just be environmental awareness. It could be anything from sexual education or if someone wants to inform people on other topics that are very important. And another thing could be increased responsibility, so they could add trash cans and maybe become recycling advocates. All right. So I've already gathered a list of potential alliances. A lot of these are local businesses. Some of my personal contacts I've made over the years that are very active with social initiatives. And it'd be very important to get them involved to kickstart this project. So I'm already starting to get in contact with them and get some momentum going. I've created a little roadmap to make these situations a reality. So right now I'm currently doing a test trial period with the spinning wheel games. I'm going to start posting videos and photos to show the game in action on Instagram. And the next phase would be to pitch to donors once we get some experience and show results, get some sponsors and game developers involved, and to produce and disperse and train the game hosts, like I mentioned earlier. Once it gains traction on social media, the idea would be to consolidate the game model to expand into different cities and possibly different countries, with the end goal to transform street interactions and to break this social and environmental barrier. So the idea is to create a cultural trend, spreading joy in the streets, and the game, the options and variety of games are endless. If this becomes a trend, they can get more creative, and this could be something that Colombians are proud of, to have games and fun on the streets and helping people improve their lives. So I can't guarantee that we can change everyone's life on the streets, but we can definitely change the norm. We can change how we interact with these people. We can also change their perspective on life. And maybe one day we could change one of those children that are accompanying their parents on the streets. Maybe one day this game could inspire him to make a social and environmental impact of his own. So thank you for your time today. If you would like to get involved, if you know anybody that would be interested in becoming a donor, a sponsor, or just would like to talk more about this initiative with me, please contact me directly. And of course, follow Juegos a la Orden on Instagram. I just started, so I'm going to start posting videos so you can see the game in action. And I look forward to hearing from some of you, and thanks for your time.
Well, thank you very much. Bravo for Justin for this incredible project. I really look forward to see the first videos, the first testimonies very soon, in a few weeks. Please share them with us, because when it's very moving, that you were able to create a system where you can have families play with the people, make a better income, and also open doors, open doors. And our dream would be to see one of those children in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, becoming real change makers in whatever challenge they can solve, social or environmental challenges. And put it in the intention, put a secret box in the game, so we can really see this magic happen in front of our eyes.